Hello and welcome to Mythology Monday. I'm your host, Alice Hanov, and today we're going to start talking about the sorcerer lines in the world of Torian. Now, if this is your first time visiting, I am a debut fantasy author, and my book series, The Head, the Heart, and the Heir, the first book of it will be published in June of this year, and my YouTube channel is a way for me to talk about books that I love, as well as give some insider intel into the fantasy world that I am creating for my series. So Torian is the world where my people all live, and you can go back and look at the videos in the different kingdoms. But now we're going to start talking about the Forbidden Lands, which is where the sorcerers are from. So in order to talk about the Forbidden Lands, we're going to dig a little bit into the sorcerers themselves. So the Forbidden Lands is essentially an island that is up in the sea in the land of Torian, and the sorcerers stay far, far away from all of the humans because, frankly, mortals are beneath them. And their part of the world has been around longer than the human part of the world has actually been around as well. So the sorcerers are divided into 10 different lines. Originally there were only 9, and then several generations ago Merlin showed up, and he was given his own line simply because of the variety of powers he had did not allow him to fit one of the 9 existing lines. So in total there are 10 sorcerer lines. Each line has a specific color, a specific line mark, and specific set of skills that their people follow. Now you might be wondering, what is a line mark? For example, this is the Ares line mark, which is an axe. The sorcerers are each given a line from their parents. So their mother and father will each give a line to their child. Sometimes it's the same line, giving them only 1 line in total, but most sorcerers end up having 2 different lines. Now the line mark is a tattoo that will end up on the bottom of their neck, given to them by their king, which is referred to as the head or the heart, depending on where their power base is from. And when they come of age, their line marks are tattooed on their neck here. So for the rest of their life, anytime they meet another sorcerer, they will immediately know what powers this sorcerer possesses. So as I mentioned, there is a head and a heart. In every generation, the 2 most powerful sorcerers born fall into the category of either the head or the heart. The head is typically the more logical one. When there were 9 lines, they had 5 of them, whereas the heart typically had 4. They think logically, they're more aggressive, whereas the heart clearly follows their emotions. They try to think outside the box a little bit better, and so forth. And these 2 will find each other at some point once they're both of age, and will fight to the death for who gets to be in charge of the sorcerers after the current living head or heart dies. So this has been going on for many generations, and that is how the sorcerers pick their leader. Now each line has its own leader that is responsible for maintaining order within that power line. These leaders are referred as titans. So what makes a titan of a sorcerer line different from the rest of the sorcerers is, number 1, they are by far the most powerful sorcerer in that line. That means they would embody all of the powers that the sorcerer can have in that line in particular. Number 2, a way to identify them is that their eyes will change color. So for example, the line of Ares, the color is burnt orange. The Titan of Ares, when they get angry or they use a lot of their powers, their eyes will flash to dark orange, and that lets you know that that person is a Titan. That's one of the reasons each line has a specific color. It helps identify them through their robe, which is a uniform that a Titan wears, as well as their eyes changing color, and also when they're using an excessive amount of color, they might start to glow the color of the line that they're using. So these colors are also very important. And the other thing that a Titan does is they help younger sorcerers find their place and figure out their powers when they're unsure, but they're also the ones that are there to help train the next generations of sorcerers and are mainly the person in charge. So if there's disagreements or issues in a sorcerer line, it's up to the Titan to deal with that. The other job that the Titan have is they sit on a council for the head. They will represent their entire line whenever decisions are made that will affect all of the sorcerers as a whole. Whether the head chooses to listen to them is another story, but the Titan is the representative of their line, and usually they tend to get along pretty well with the other Titans depending on the specific lines. Certain sorcerer lines get along better with other sorcerer lines, and some don't get along at all. For example, Ares is a violent, chaotic line. They get along with Salem, which is explosive and fire. So you can see these ones make sense. The same with Celtics, which are very plant and peace-based, tend to get along with the Tira, which, live in the plants that the Celtic sorcerers are creating. So there's a lot of fun things that happen. There's certain other kinds of sorcerers that are special or unique in their own way. There's something called usurper. They can take powers from other sorcerers and borrow them essentially when that sorcerer is around. There's a returned one, which is a sorcerer who has died and come back to life after being on the brink of death and that. And there's so many other different kinds of sorcerers and things that make them special, and quirks and things about their world that make them a ton of fun. But now that you know what the Forbidden Lands is and essentially what the important parts of the sorcerers are, we're going to delve into talking about the 10 different lines. So for the next 10 Mondays, we're going to go into each of the lines one at a time so that you can learn about all these fun lines and see just what you can expect when you start reading the series, The Head, the Heart, and the Heir. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do so you don't miss any of my fun mythology Mondays. And otherwise, check out some of my book reviews, because on top of writing a book, I'm a voracious reader and I have a lot to say about the books that I've read. Have a great day.